Hey, it's Don, the Auction Professor. Today we're just going to touch a little bit on storage. Behind me is about $1 million worth of storage in these bins here. Everything that we have in storage here is labeled, numbered, and marked. Not only are the bins themselves marked, but the shelving itself is marked. So shelf A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S. And that's it. So, that's the point. You have to label everything. Now, I didn't used to label everything when I first started, but I soon realized that it's pretty darn hard to sort through hundreds of postcards. So we quickly came up with a means of storing everything. And everything we store, whether it was clothing, books, or whatever the case may be, they're all stored in labeled bins. So each listing has a number that corresponds with the bin. Let me just pull one out here and show you. Now, in here are probably around 600 or 700 auctions worth of items in here. It encompasses numbers F74 through F88. Just random numbers. You can look these up in my store as well. If you type in F74, you're going to get a bunch of items that are in that section. Each one of these, on top of that, then, has obviously those specific numbers in there, and you can see they're all tabbed up. I buy tabs for everything, and here's just an example of what I buy. And I buy these several thousand at a time when I buy them. Literally, I'm buying a ton of these all at once because I go through a ton of them. One of these bins can be filled up at least in a couple of days' time if I have a couple people working on it. Now, that may sound like a lot to get that many up but for somebody, but again, I've got employees, so I'm in a different game than some people here. I know I started off with just me, so again, I know where you're coming from, but you better start off soon if you ever want to take it to another level. Now, once I get into the bins, everything has one of those cards. And again, cards right here. I will have links to all these items that I'm showing you here as well down below. I could get a small commission if you do buy something off there, but I mean, it's like pennies. And what I buy are honestly the cheapest, best products I can get for really anything I get. That's with the cards here. Now, in that bin, and this bin is F74, I've just put random items in there. There's cards, there's postcards, real photo postcards, the whole works. All of the bins are like this. Every bin that I have. So when I list these items, I put either in the title or I use a secondary descriptor, which you can do on eBay, and have it that way. Now, I put some of these in the title because I wanted easy access for anybody looking for them. There wouldn't be any confusion. Plus, I'm not the only one here, and it's easier to see without having to pull up secondary descriptors and then import those in or anything like that. Nowadays, we don't so much do that anymore on some items, just because if you're going to put them up on Amazon, you're not supposed to have bin indicators and things like that in the title. So just FYI if you didn't know that. One other thing too, while I'm showing you this here, everything goes in these sleeves. I've got little tiny sleeves that they go into. I buy those 5,000 and 10,000 at a time. Here's literally one of the boxes. I buy them off eBay. I'll have links to those as well. There's probably 4,000 left in this one here. I cut them down as we get down to them. But again, if you buy them in 5,000 or 10,000 quantity at a time, they're dirt cheap, and I do mean dirt cheap. I don't really worry about the brands so much. They're all about the same. They hold 3.5 by 5.5 postcards, basically, and they should be 2 mil bags. 2 mil is a thickness standard, and for the bigger ones, I buy these. These are 5 by 7 sleeves, and I buy these like 1,000 or 2,000 at a time. You can't get these in the same quantity. I do have contacts with the people that make them, so occasionally I'll buy huge amounts with other folks. We'll go in on it, and we can get a huge amount all at the same time and save some more money. I don't do that very often, just because the other folks may not go through as much of these sleeves as I do. But again, everything is binned. Everything is marked. Everything. And if you look behind me, these go back. There's others behind it even. Now, we've got about 70 of these bins in here, these smaller ones. Everything is numbered this way. This is $1 million worth of inventory here. That's list price. And that's just this stuff here. A lot of material that we have, we can send into Amazon, so I don't have to store it. So, money-wise isn't the consideration. It's easy to store. This isn't something that I can store at Amazon or eBay. I would never do it regardless. I wouldn't trust the safety of my items going off like that. It's a huge amount of inventory in a small space. And this doesn't count my storage of records and wholesale RA items and things along that line as well. Now, those types of items are a total different breed of storage. Many of those could get shipped off immediately, so I don't keep that around. Wholesale, sometimes you wouldn't even have to bring it to your facility. You can ship it straight from the manufacturer, the wholesaler that you purchased it from. But as you see, I label everything and down to the shelf. So internal numbers you can have in your listings. You can have, secondary descriptors. So add some secondary descriptors to everything if you don't want it in the title. I label everything, as I said. This is A8. These bins are A8. So it's an A8. There's only 2 different options. I've got sheet music. There's a few comic books. And then I've got dust jackets, sheet music books, coloring books. So things are separated. This is just formatted sheet music themselves. Sheet music books are down here, so I don't have to dig. So if it's a sheet music book, it's right here. Up here in the sheet music section, it's just sheet music. And inside this bin, they're separated. I've got one half of the bin, one side of the bin is large format, and then one side of the bin is small format, the standard modernized format of sheet music. And inside there, they're all alphabetized. So A to Z, everything is alphabetized, so it only takes a few moments to pop to where I need to go in anything that I have. Same with these and the dust jackets. There's a few paperbacks and role-playing games in here. Books, they're all alphabetized and separated. If there's paper between them in many cases, that will distinguish which is which in there. Same thing here, large-size cards. It's got numbers, drink labels. If possible, I always use clear bins so I can instantly tell where something is in the bin. It does cut your time down drastically, even like on these. So again, there's rows of these in some areas, so I've got double exposure. And again, there's 500 or better in each one of these bins. It's an easy way to store anything. Even with 78s in records, once they're listed, they're in a bin. Even if they're on a shelf, everything is binned up in one of these plastic totes. So if I need to move or something happens or there's a disaster, most of them are covered. If I need to move them or we expand, it's easy to move things around. They're all in these bins, everything. And even things like small toy soldiers. I've got a section which is the D shelf here. These are all like small items on this one here. Patches, matchbooks, things like that. I've got bigger bins right here, which are photos. Now, photos, I don't stand them up. I know many people do. All I do on photos is I stick a piece of paper between each level. So this is A1, this first section. A1 photos. Another paper, A2. And these stick out past. Photos are 8 by 10. These are 8.5 by 11. So you've got an inch so you can see where the divider is very, very easily. I separate and use these cardboard rolls from the tape that I have. It's awesome to use these. They fill in a ton of space. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. It's a good way to recycle and fill up the space. Just like if you're listing, and again, I've got cards everywhere here. If you're listing cards, you can stick some of these in the back and it'll hold them in there. So before you fill up the bin, it's easy for them to still stand up. And you can just add as many as you need. We've got tons of these already taped together as well. They're free. You recycle them, I would hope. But that works great for almost anything that we do like that. So in this bin's probably 400 or more photos. I mean, it's a big stack of photos. My hand goes all the way down. I've got bins like this just for photos. They're separated by what type of photo they are. So I've got military in one stack, musicians. This is, which one is this one? Movie star. So this is TV and movie related. I do have a video game section separate than this one here. This is the old stuff. But anyway, that's what I do with everything. Every bin. So again, it says what's in there. This is silverware, pens, buckles, brass smalls, silver smalls. And I've got many bins that say almost the exact same thing, but this is in D. This is D11. So again, there's a D4 up here. This is C3, C4. So everything is bin numbered as well to the shelf, so you can instantly tell where anything is. I hear it all the time where people misplace items that they have bought and they've been storing for a long time. I've got items up that have been up for 3 or 4 years that I can instantly find. I never have an issue with it. Just to touch on that a little bit, I know people say sell through rate, sell through rate. I've got to sell this, I've got to sell this. Every day I sell something that's been up for a very long time at almost the full price, if not the full price. As long as you've got enough money coming in and your fees overall are minute, it doesn't matter how much you sell through or how much quantity you have up. There's many different models. This model works for me. I can't say it would work for you if you're selling clothing. Clothing brands switch so drastically that you have to move it quickly. If you don't move it quickly, you could be stuck with it. So there's many different models to work. So if you're selling clothing, my model is not going to work for you at all. You can't price up. You can't hold and not worry about it. You're not going to find it in bulk like this either. So there's drawbacks and pluses to any model you work, as long as you have storage set up in my model. Long tail items, you got enough inventory coming in, you got enough stuff selling, this works great. I'm telling you, for me. Most everybody I know that does this sort has the same similar setup. No issues, no problems whatsoever. We have 65,000 items in this area here just for the store I share with you, not counting any of the other sites or any of the other avenues that we sell on. Just this area. And the shelving goes around. There's more shelving, garage, the other half of the room, down the hallway, all over the place. I have shelving everywhere in this facility. And they're all pretty much full. We've got a lot of stuff in here. But it's all manageable because, again, everything is organized completely. And I do mean completely. Even big bins. These have toys and stuffed animals, some of them. I've got small boy toys, girl toys, new bins, comics. This says unlisted. I need to change the label. Somebody's actually just listed those, so they're new. And you can see a ton of these reels, the cardboard tubes in here, holding up the records, because you have to stand 78s up on end. If you're on Patreon, what's in this bin is the one I've been showing you from, I think it's E10, if I'm not mistaken, or Z10. Toys. I mean, everything is all categorized in here by what's in it. Down to, like, religious items. I've got a bin that just says rosary beads. I've got one that says men's jewelry. I've got one that says cufflinks. I've got fine jewelry. Now, I've got a bunch of jewelry bins going on and on. There's some numbered wise like this. I've got multiple bins of it. It just depends on it. Again, there's slot numbers for everything. So this is D13 here. Again, I know where everything goes. When we pull it out, everything goes back in these bins correctly. Even in the bins, everything is bagged with a number, so we can pull it out and instantly say, I need an 8. Whatever the case may be. Now, this one has other designations on it too, so just keep that in mind when you're looking through stuff or you're labeling stuff. This is just pins, specifically just pins. Now, I've got necklace bins. I've got a couple bins of just pins, because we've got around 400 or 500 costume pieces of jewelry up right now in this store here alone. Again, anything can be stored this way. Books we store in these bins. I'll stand them up. I can double layer them like this here. Magazines are in bins as well too. Many different types of magazines. I'll write the type and variety that's in it. Whatever I do, it's binning it. It's labeling each and everything that we have. And again, you can store millions of dollars worth of inventory in confined areas as long as you do it correctly and you label everything. I can find any item that I want in my store out of 65,000 active items in just a matter of a moment or so, a minute at the most. All I got to do is look at my sold listing and the numbers in there. Whether it's in the title or it's an individual descriptor that's hidden from the general public, it's all there for us to use. I use every feature that I can for things like that. So again, everything is binned, everything is labeled. Even in LPs, it's the same basic principle. I'll have totes or bins like this. There'll be certain ones, they'll all be numbered. This tote has like A1 in it through A50, or whatever the case may be, however you want to bin them up. Everything can be stored this way. Every single thing. Individual descriptors that are in there, you've got lines to put those in. There is no issue whatsoever with storage. Let me show you one other thing that makes life real easy. It's this tabletop dispenser as well too. These are the bomb if you don't know. Let's just put this down here. Let me just show you. This tape dispenser is real easy to use, in all honesty. It just takes a second. And once you get this down real quick, you can instantly tape anything you want with one of these. It holds the 2-inch rolls on this. Most of the tape is really accessible. I'm going to have links to all this stuff down there if you're interested. I've got a bunch of these. There's 2 more down there. We use these for everything in this house. I don't have any of the handheld jobbies. They're all table dispensers, in all honesty. They work the best for what we do. They're great for shipping easy, small items, big boxes, whatever. It's just a matter of pulling the tape off. You know, I mean, it's so much easier to use this than the handguns that I see everybody using, the hand dispensers. But anyway, it's your preference. These are the bomb. It is a U-line. I've beat these things up. I've dropped them. You can replace the blade, which is the only thing that would wear out. It's fully replaceable. There's, I think, pins or something underneath here. Everything else in here is replaceable. These things last forever. I've had these for like 5 years without an issue ever on one of these units. They fit the standard tape, and they have 3-inch standard versions of the same thing. They also have like the pre-glue tape, the paper tape that you can get that are machines that shoot it out as well too. I don't use those because I love these so much. I use these all the time, but with all the tools and the stuff you can get, it's all available for you. It's really the best. Most people you'll see have bins like this. I do split them up into 2 bins. These are like half-style bins, so I can pull one out. It's a lot lighter. It's easier to separate your product. All of these come from Walmart, Sam's Club, or something along that line. You can get them anywhere. Average price on like a bin with a lid like this, if you buy them at 5 at a time in like bulk from Sam's Club or something, they're like $4.80 or something a piece. And I've held these up for a long time. All of these bins I've had for like 6-7 years, and we keep buying them. They do change the variety, so you see multiple colors of lids, but you know, as long as they do the same thing, I don't care if they're slightly different. We also, when we brought these shelves in and set these all up, we measured them all out ahead of time, so we knew exactly what's going to go where. Heavier items are on the bottom to help stabilize the shelf. These shelves I've talked about before, these come from Walmart. They were $55 each section. They're about 5 feet across, and they go all the way up to the ceiling, literally. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 single shelves that come with it. They can be split in half as well. We use one of these for a camera section because I can always change it at any time I want. So these are completely movable. I can adjust them at any point I want. They're $55 when you buy 2 of them. I don't remember the individual price, but I buy these in pairs usually. So it's $110 total for 2 sets of these, which are almost 10 running feet per section with 10 actual board shelving units in it. So that's literally everything that I do for storage around here. Everything goes in here. My boxes for shipment are lined up on shelves like this, usually on the top because it's lighter material. Always sort everything out. Think about what you're going to store, how you're going to store it before you do it as well. Again, heaviest stuff on the bottom of the shelf. As you go up, lighter and lighter stuff. This is mid-section because it's in the moderate range. Plus, we've downsized to make split boxes, so it's not just one giant box. Now, you can stand some of these up in, like, comic and magazine long boxes, they call them, but they don't fit on these shelves very well is the problem. And then they're an odd size, so I can't fit much else on top or anything like that also. They're narrower. So these work fine for us because it's literally about the width of 3 magazines, and I can fit 3 rows of magazines. Again, I've got separators for everything, whether it be cardboard separators like the tubes or not. But literally this works for everything. You can buy stiff stock of paper to separate records when you go to like 78s and 45s. 45s are even in bins down here. Labels are in bins. I use these for everything. I mean, it's just very practical. Let me show you one more method that I use to store things in. If you've got a lot of small items, let me set it up here so you can see it. If you've got a lot of small items, I use these accordion, and I fill these up. 2 of these accordions will fit in one of these plastic tubs, and this is C5. So, and then in C5, this is the and sign. There's going to be another one behind here that the wife's filling up right now. I've got other ones. There's 2 of those in here. There's 2 of those and another one on the one behind us. So I've used these for a long time. This bin of just paper weighs like maybe 20 or 25 pounds. In each one of these, I fit all types of different pieces of material. There's some smaller posters, tobacco items, postcards in this one here as well too, autographs, envelopes, covers, certificates, anything that needs to be taken care of better than just being laid flat in one of these other bins. So more expensive stuff goes in here. There's a bin for everything. Just think a little bit about what it takes. These brown expandable bins work great. They're permanent. They all have individual numbers on them. So these numbers are identifiers as well to help identify it. So it'd be and X, and B, and Z, and D, whichever the case may be. So with what you got available, you can put other things inside of it like this. This is perfect. As I said, then we put stuff on the side. So here's photos in this one here. Everything's numbered, everything's labeled. Every single piece of merchandise that I have listed, 65,000 plus, has a number tied to it. Every one. The items that we didn't originally put numbers on, we've went back and numbered everything. We've sorted them in easily distinguishable bins as well. So you might have to do that. If you start when you first do this and label everything from the start, you won't be in the predicament we were in when we had to go back in and label everything, thousands of items. But it works great. Everything has a spot. Even if you just set something up on top of a shelf like this. This is C6. So everything has a bin. It's just a vintage cigar box that's for sale. Sometimes, you know, we wrap them up and then put them in other bins. Like another bin here. This is just all kinds of things. Platonics. There's bins in here. There's hats in here. Shriners items. What is this? Here's a telegraph key. In fact, I think there's 2 telegraph keys in here. Everything has a bin. As long as it's in a numbered bin, it doesn't matter what it is or how much of it you have, you can always find it. Keep it in the bin. When you list it, just double check that all of your items are labeled correctly and you'll do just fine. So don't worry about expanding. Having a ton of items is not some huge endeavor. You know, as long as the fees aren't killing you, we have Anchor Store, so we pay 2 cents a month to list one item. You know, literally 2 cents. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's $0.25 a year to list an item for us. For the entire year. It's not even really that, but we're just rounding up. With the discounts and such forth we get from Top Rated Plus, it's even lower than that, in all honesty. And if you sell your leftover boxes, you can bring that percentage down to about 1.5 cents per month to list an item, in all honesty. We get free boxes from eBay every 3 months, and most of the time we don't use those. We'll sell them off, or we'll just buy poly bags. Whichever item sells the best is what I usually just eat up my money with, my free shipping boxes. And then I sell them, as I said. So we just reduce the cost that way. Our Top Rated Seller Plus reduces my listing cost as well. Because again, the biggest complaint I always hear people talking about is they're paying to list all these items. If you're paying 35 cents to list an item that you're storing and you've got 65,000 items up there, it's going to be a problem for you. But with an Anchor Store, it's less than 2 cents once all is said and done per item. And with what I'm taking in, the fees are nothing. You know, it's less than 20% total, all of my expenses, fees and all. We make 80% profit on 95% of everything we sell. That 80% profit is after I've paid for the items, my listing fees, my labor, and the whole works. I charge for shipping as well, so shipping does not come out of my end. I charge for every single item that ships out this door, the buyer. It's always worked fine for me. Again, there's many different models. If you're selling clothing only or new items, you can't do this model at all. It's just not going to work for you. So I know, again, back to sell-through rate, I know people complain, you know, your sell-through rate's terrible. I don't care about a sell-through rate. The olden days, antique malls would just put a bunch of stuff in their store. They had no sell-through rate. The right person has to come in to buy it. That's just the way it works for anything. If I sell less popular items, I try to stick to niches. So again, it doesn't matter at all. I have to have a ton of certain items. No big deal to me. I've got them out now going on multiple platforms. We sell across the board. Our sales are doing nothing more than going up. If you mess with this kind of stuff as well, we do not have a slow season. Straight through summer, my sales have been rocking just as easily as they have been in last fourth quarter. Fourth quarter this year will be the biggest fourth quarter we have ever had. whatever's going on in society, recession or whatever the case may be, if you sell the right items, you can still avoid a lot of those issues. Perfect example is this again. Inventory wise, it doesn't matter how much you have up or what inventory you have, as long as you're making a certain percentage profit. So don't just look at me and say, well, look, he's got all that stuff up there and all this inventory, I couldn't do that. You might not have to. It just depends on what you sell. There's people out there that only have 3 different items that they sell all year round, all the time, and they could make more than me. My model is this way. Long tail items, a lot of them. I just let them set, no big deal. It check rolls in all the time. I sell stuff constantly, you know, over and over and over again. My phone's going off telling me I've got something sold. It's just not a concern, the storage for me. Just like if you had to drive around to pick up stuff, or you driving around to garage sales, that's a cost of doing business. My listing fees are fairly reasonable considering how much I have up. Again, because I do have an anchor store. Less than 2 cents a piece per listing per month is what I pay. So anyway, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas on storage. Hopefully that gave you some thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell a friend.